Next up, we're going to be talking about the extra deck. Extra deck, I'm running 2 Watt.
Baby girl, it's straight down, simply beautiful. Everything did from her nails to a beautiful body like a goddess. Baby, you're the hottest. Ain't no competition. Shout it, you the hottest.
What's up, guys? It's the one and only Dave from Team LSP. You already know what it do. I'm so tired, man. Let me tell you, yesterday I went to locals and I ran watts for the first time ever, and I was there for like 6 or 7 hours, man. They had a huge turnout. It was like 50 people, but I came in 4th place. Me and 3rd place split 45-45, so we got 45 bucks. We could have played it out. Winner would have won 90, but we were like, yeah, it's just safe to split, so let's do it. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into this deck profile. I'm gonna tell you guys something. This is probably my 2nd favorite deck, second to Mystic Piper. I love this deck. It's so versatile. It's so easy to run. Let's go ahead and get into it. 3 WattGiraffes. Now, for those of you who don't know what he does, you summon him, you attack with him, and for the rest of that turn, your opponent cannot activate a card. This is so useful. There were so many times I just summoned one. My opponent had 4 back row. I attacked directly and play Heavy Storm in the main phase too. He couldn't do anything to stop it. This card is just so pro, and I also go into some of the broken combos that I pulled off as we go on with the deck profile. 3 WattCobras. He's your searcher. You attack directly, search out another Cobra, attack directly, search out a Dragonfly, whatever you want, whatever you need. He's really good. 1000 attack. 3 Dragonflies. You can set up so many combos with him. You can end games with him. His effect is let's get a focus here. His effect is, if this card is destroyed by your opponent's card, either by battle or by card effect, you can special summon 1 Watt monster from your deck. So normally you will set him face down, they'll attack him, dark hole him, nobleman of cross out him, whatever they want to do, it doesn't matter. He's going to get his effect off. And the coolest thing about him is, if you know you're about to get the Watt lock on somebody and you summon him and they try to warning it to stop you, you still get the effect. Like, no matter what, he gets his effect if he's destroyed. 3 WattHoppers. I seen the deck profile by the guy who did not run the hopper lock, and he did top 48. I'm just telling you, if I was there, I would have been in like the top 16, because hopper lock is really a bitch to get out of, and people don't run enough cards to get out of the hopper lock, and you're running enough cards to prevent them from stopping it too, so it's really good. Oh, I didn't even tell you his effect. For those who don't know, his effect is if you have 2 WattHoppers on the field, your opponent cannot target Watts with monster effects, card effects, and they cannot be targeted for an attack. So basically you have these 2 in defense, and you're just like, you have your other Watts out, you just keep attacking directly until you go for game. It's really good. I'm running 1 WattPheasant. The only reason I'm running him is just to get rid of like XYZ monsters, or just to, like, sometimes you can use him for game, like they have a big beater on the field, you attack directly, you remove their monster, and then you can attack with like your Thunder King, or you can attack with like Dragonfly, just whatever's relative to the moment. 2 Thunder Kings. Usually I'm in a situation where I can't attack with Thunder King, but Thunder King is just there to stop the searching that your opponent does. And yeah, sometimes it locks up your own searching, but that's rare. Like, it's rare that you're gonna lock up your own searching, but he's good against everything. Dino Rabbit, like, they try to exceed, you know, whatever they try to synchro, they try to go for Black Rose, you can just stop it. Hand traps, I'm running 1 Honest, because like every Watt is a light. 3 Veilers, because I'm not running Max C, and Veiler is a must in this format. You have to run some kind of hand trap. Veiler is a neg 1, but in this deck it really doesn't hurt you that much to run 3. And I main deck 2 Lava Golems, simply because Lava Golem's broken 9 times out of 10. your opponent can't attack you. And usually what happens is you special summon it to your opponent's side of the field, you attack directly with the Watt, so you're doing at least 1,000 damage, and then next turn he takes 1,000, so it's 2,000 damage or more depending on the situation. Next up, 2 dualities. Dualities does not hurt you at all in this deck because you rarely special summon. 3 Messengers of Peace. I'm main decking those just because it prevents them from attacking with Lava Golem when you special summon it. All your Watts can attack directly, and you can just keep racking up the kills, man. Taking them down. 1 Dark Hole, 1 Monster Reborn, 1 Recycling Batteries. I choose this over Avarice just because this card is not that hard to get off. Avarice is way harder to get off. You have to have 5 in the grave. They can chain a DD Crow to it. Like, there's just so much, you know, bogus stuff. But Recycling Batteries is pretty easy. All you need is 2 Thunder types in the grave. 1 Heavy Storm, 3 MSTs. Just because Macro doesn't really hurt this deck, but D Prisms hurt the deck. Mirror Force kind of hurts a little bit. Deep Prisms hurt the most, but you gotta have these back row killers. They ensure your plays go off, like your opponent just doesn't expect you to run those. Running 1 Where Arf Thou. We'll talk about that in a minute. If you don't know what that does, you if you have a level 1 monster on the field, you can add a level 1 monster to your hand, but if you do not normal summon it this turn, you take 2,000 damage. 2 Threatening Roars, you know what that does. 2 The Huge Revolution is over. 1 Starlight Road. I'm choosing these over Starlight Road because it's more versatile than Starlight Road. It's the counter trap, so it can't be negated by, like, you know, Lagia or whatever. Also, Starlight Road requires your opponent to be destroying 2 of your cards, but Huge Revolution is any 2 cards on the field. So if your opponent torrentials when you summon 1 monster, like say you summon a Thunder King and they have a monster on the field and they torrential, you can play the Huge Revolution is over instead of Starlight Road, and it just helps you out. You know, it saves your cards, it'll save your lock a lot because they can't negate it with the monster effect. And I mean, nothing can stop this. No beast can stop it. No Shein can't stop it. You know, it's just there. It's really helpful. And then last but not least, I'm running Solemn Judgment just because he's there when you need him. It costs 1,000. I said it costs 1,000. It costs half your life points, but I mean, it's worth it in Watts. Your opponent's rarely going to be attacking you. We'll go ahead and get into this extra deck here. Extra deck has a lot of room. You really have options as to what you want to run. So I'm running 1 Catastor. You know, he's a standard. 1 Black Rose, because you know sometimes you just have to nuke the field, even in Watts. Like, you might be so locked up that you just have nothing but, you know, nuking the field. Like, I played against a Marauding Captain lock. Like, he had a lock on me and I couldn't, you know, all I had was Thunder Kings at the moment, so I reborned one of his tuners and went for this. Ancient Sacred Wyvern. It's rare you get him out, but when you do, your life points are 9 times out of 10 going to be higher than your opponent's, so your opponent is basically going to be hurting when you bring him out. This usually you're going for the OTK. When you bring him out, you're ending the game if you can bring him out. 1 Stardust because we're running Starlight Road. 1 Scrap Dragon just because he's a level 8 beater and he's got a good effect. 1 Gachi Gachi because sometimes you don't have a choice, or maybe you want to go for game and you have 2 Dragonflies. He's just there for versatility. Like, I only used him once, and that was to go for game because my opponent had 1,400 life points and all I had was a giraffe. Like, I had he had a Lava Golem on the field and I had 2 Dragonflies, so I just overlaid the Dragonflies and I attacked for what, 1,600 damage, and he had to scoop that game. Next up, my favorite extra deck card, number 50 Blackship of Corn. So basically what he does is once per turn you can detach one XYZ material from this card, then target one face-up monster your opponent controls with attack equal than or less than this card. Send it to the graveyard, and if you do, inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent. This card cannot attack the turn you activate this effect. He's good because most of your Watts are level 4. You're running Thunder Kings too, so sometimes, like, say your opponent has 3,000 life points left. I was in this situation a lot. You have a WattCobra and a WattGiraffe on the field. Once you attack with WattGiraffe, they lose. If that attack goes through, they're done. This happened to me. I was playing Dino Rabbit. He had like 3,000 life points left. I attacked with a WattGiraffe. It was game, because then, you know, I went for the Cobra, I got the search, and then I went for this, I overlaid it, and I sent his Spirit Reaper to the graveyard, and he had to lose 1,000 life points per game. So that card is really versatile. I like the artwork on it too. It's a plant type, which is strange, but you know, it's a good card. You have to have it. Anything that does damage, you have to have it. One Steelswarm Roach. I played against J5th from your Yu-Gi-Oh channel. Yeah, this was effective against him. He couldn't get those light rays out. Can't get JD out. Chaos Dragons can't get their crap out. He's good for that. One Maestroke. Two Utopias. Utopia is really useful in this deck because you just, at all costs, you want to stop your opponent from attacking you, and that's how you end up winning the game, as long as you can stop them. One Utopia Ray. One Photon, Papilla Operative, and one Gem Knight Pearl. Just extra rank 4s, just to be versatile in case you come across something you can't handle. Next up, we're going to be talking about the extra deck. Extra deck, I'm running 2 Watt Keepers. I usually side these in depending on if I'm playing a deck that side decks macro or not. If the deck does not side deck macro, like Chaos Dragons, I side these in because they make it so easy to get out your Watt lock. The effect of this card is you can special summon one level 4 lower Watt monster from your graveyard and destroy it at the end phase. Usually what you do is you activate this, and you can either XYZ for game, you know, exceed summon, or you can get your Dragonfly back and get the lockout. So you summon a Dragonfly, attack their monster, bring out Hopper, activate Watt Keeper, get it back, attack. I did that against Lumina. Like, I was summon a Dragonfly, attack Lumina and I take 100, destroys the Dragonfly, bring out WattHopper, flip this and do it again, and then you have the Hopper lock on the field. So that's a really good card. 2 Bottomless, just because you're going to be playing decks that, like, any monster that's a problem for you, like Lila comes to the field, he destroys one of your back row. You don't want that happening, so you're playing Chaos Dragons, you side these in. If you're playing Agents, you side these in, because you want to get rid of those monsters. You don't want those effects to stay on the field. And then the last couple cards are my back row. Magic Drain. This is for the Dark World matchup mostly, because I don't want them to get off Drag Down, and I don't want them to get off Dark World dealings. 3 Shadow Imprisoning Mirrors, because I hate Dark Worlds. I hate Dark Worlds. I hate Dark Worlds. They're so scrubby. That's what I got those. 3 Prohibitions, just for Dark Worlds, because I'm going to call Grapha. And my side deck is built for Dark Worlds. Like, I hate Dark Worlds so much. Last card, Soul Release. I usually main deck this, but you don't have to in Watts, because the only real thing this hurts is Chaos Dragons. And Chaos Dragons is already a strong matchup for Watts. They have a really hard time, you know, beating Watts. And, you know, they swarm the field. You have Lava Golem. You just keep tearing them up. Alright, so we're going to go over some of the really easy ways to get the Hopper lockout. All you really need to get the Hopper lockout is either one of these cards. If you open up with either one of these cards, you're going to get the Hopper lockout. If you open up with Dragonfly, you set it, they destroy it. You bring out, like, depending on how many monsters they have on the field. If they have one monster out on the field, you bring out Cobra. So next turn, depending on what you have, you're going to attack. What you do is you try to get another Dragonfly, or you try to get another, or you get a WattHopper. So eventually you're going to beat your opponent down. Once you get these two cards in hand, it's a game. Because you set this, whenever they attack it, you bring out WattHopper. Next turn, you normal summon WattHopper. If they have Backrow that turn, you might not want to attack. You might want to wait till the next turn to set it, because Mirror Force does stop the Hopper lock. So I always keep the Hoppers in defense. That should be a no-brainer anyway, but it's just so easy to get it out. And you know, a good play that I always did was I would summon Giraffe, attack, they can't do anything, attack with that, overlay these, overlay for Blackship of Corn, and then, you know, you detach and do an extra 1,000. So effectively right there, you just did 1,200, 1,000, and 1,000, so you did 3,200 damage to them. If they had a Lava Golem on the field, you just did 4,200 damage to them. That is half of their life points right there. So that's why this deck is really good. It's really versatile. There's so much stuff you can do. So many ways you can get the Hopper lock out. Messenger of Peace, that's the star card of the deck. Stops them from doing everything. Honest, protect your monsters. Everything is basically in here to stop your opponent from successfully attacking you. As long as you can do that, you're going to win the game, or they're going to deck out. Either way, you're going to win. So, I hope you guys like this deck profile. If you want to see more deck profiles, you know what to do. Give me a thumbs up. Tell me if you like this card. What do you think about this card versus this card? What do you think is the better card? You guys let me know. Give me a thumbs up on the video. Don't forget to leave a comment below. Photon Papilla Operative or number 50 Blackship of Corn. Let me know what it do. They both get rid of Spirit Reaper, so I love both of them. But hey, holla at your boy. I'm gonna get on out of here. Peace.